All right, who's next is our Bryson up next. Okay, so I will stop.
Question, Matthew. Is
Yes.
Flare just an independent organization since he's gotten and just aggregates all of these data?
Yeah, you buy it. It's we bought a sensor and we put it up, and then it's just set to automatically submit data there. All right, Bryce, we see you live and big screen here.
Hey guys. So I want to just say that these speakers so far have been really interesting, and I've already got lots of ideas. Like, I got to get some stamps. My handwriting is so atrocious. Even chickens say damn. And so I got to get a stamp that says more, a stamp that says, unclear, write your units. I actually have a sticker. I have been using stickers for that. Okay, so I will try to be as concise as I can. You may know me as the winner of Best Hair of 1998, but I haven't won it lately. I don't know why. So I am the inimitable Mr. Pemble, and you might think this is a joke, cartographer of space-time. Well, I did add that part, but I am the official school cartographer. My new principal just made me, in my lifelong dream, the official school cartographer of Poly High. I'm not even joking. I added the space-time, and I'll explain why. And I'll try to be as brief as possible. My students know I'm very brief, but I would like to say that I think just a few of you at least match my intensity in the morning. People are usually like, whoa, but I think at least Brower for sure is there, Most people are like, whoa, they don't want to talk to me early in the morning. You know what I mean? Because I get up at 4:30 and I get to school 3 hours early every day, by the way. If you wonder, how does he do this? Okay, so ready? Brace yourselves. I'll try to be concise. I am Mr. Pemble, and I teach at Poly High, and I've been there for nigh on 20 years. I'm not so technological-like as you might expect, but I do have a keen sense of graphic design. Unlike a lot of people that go into science, I have a very strong artistic side, and I've really infused it into the things I do. So why am I the cartographer of space-time? Well, X, Y, Z, right? And then T, I make the schedules for my school as well. I make the maps, the schedules. This was yesterday. This was just for yesterday. And we had the PSAT. It went really well. Much better digital. Okay. And so I try to direct people to find the correct location in the space-time continuum. Get it? Does that make sense? Okay. And I go overboard with my own classes. So this is what we've been doing this month. We're heading towards our stoichiometry tests. So they're a little concerned about that one. But I think I've made stoichiometry something not to be dreaded. I think I've figured out so many things to scaffold it that it isn't so bad. And so when they say, what's everybody talking about? What's so bad about this? What's so bad about limiting reactants? Come on. That's what I'm hoping, but you'll have to ask them. Okay, I do all kinds of crazy posters. I usually make these 18 inches, have them all over the place, like the Molecule Club. It's an exclusive club that doesn't let everybody in. Sorry, polyatomic ions, which, by the way, are named after my school. So sorry, there's no Northridge atomic ions, guys. Sorry about that. And we talk about what it takes to be in the Molecule Club and how they exclude people. These are just some of the things. I was just giving you a sense. And I do posters about the different real bonds. I'm trying to my campaign is to get hydrogen bond removed from the terminology permanently. I even wrote that in my AP seminar, I even wrote that to the people as my comment. Can we please stop saying hydrogen bond? And I think a lot of people agree with me. I think that's a bandwagon. I think this is a big bandwagon. And I have rules of thumb. I know I only have 2 thumbs. I'm aware, but there's actually another rule of thumb. Well, anyway, these are the main rules of thumb. And some people I found only teach these and don't use electronegativity to find out what they really are. And there are so many exceptions to especially the middle rule, the one about nonmetals and metals, that it drives me nuts. And so I go out of my way to find exceptions and talk about that and do the electronegativity differences, not just to the 10th place, but to the 100th place, and you can really tell. But then you get the problem where the electronegativity scale is kind of like arbitrary, like out of 4. Linus Pauling, what the heck? Interesting guy. Oh, by the way, I have a YouTube channel with all of my, this is one of those pandemic resources. I had no idea how to do this, but at the beginning of the pandemic, I immediately started making videos of my instruction and the labs. I had my children do the labs. I have film. So I use those whenever students are absent or whenever necessary. It's a really good, it's good to have that reservoir of prepared videos and ed puzzles and et cetera. So I use those quite a lot. And I still, to this day, I am not kidding, do a Zoom every period, every day. And this week I had 7 students in various Zooms. They were out sick. There was a lot of kids sick on Friday. Lots of kids were using tissues for the PSAT. It was a little bit scary, guys. I don't know. I'm just a little bit concerned. Anyway, so I have that. And if you guys want to look at any of those, the one I just made was farewell to the demo spot. They're just fenced off our demo spot for the construction at my school. And there's lots of dramatic demos, like you can see right there, the thermite and things like that, alkali metals. The most popular thing I have on the YouTube channel is actually, I don't know why, my thing about metallic bonds. And it must be because of my little metaphor. I drew these, by the way. That metals are bad shepherds. Get it? You guys, some of you probably get this. So like, they just don't really care much about those outer electrons, those valence electrons. They're just not that, good at keeping track of them. They can just wander all over between the flocks. So this is the metaphor. You see what I mean? If you're not a chemistry person, that probably makes this, maybe it doesn't make as much sense. Anyway, I'm just going to keep going. So yeah, and so because the electronegativity, follow me here, don't freak out. Because the electronegativity scale is so arbitrary out of 4, and we don't usually think out of 4, we think out of 10, maybe out of 100. Here's what I did, and don't kill me. I took the electronegativity scale to the hundredths place, and I multiplied it by 25 to get it to be out of 100. Okay, on kind of like a percentage. Okay, and I call this the electromagnificence scale because it's a magnified electronegativity scale. And now you can see, look at fluorine, 99.50, and look at cesium, okay, 19.75. Okay, so it's really, it really makes it seem like a more dramatic difference than like what is it, 3.95 and 0.7. Anyway, so what I'm here to tell you about, sorry, I'm getting to, okay, I know it's, okay, so what I'm showing you is just, it's a simple thing. It's not super technological. It's just to familiarize students with the periodic table. So it's elemental bingo. And elemental bingo is a good technique, and it doesn't take advantage of students like really liking you or enjoying it, but it really gets them passionate. And that's another way to engage students. You don't always have to make them happy. You can make them very mad, very, very mad. And then they still kind of get a lot out of it. So anyway, some of them get happy, I guess, if you go to bingo. And so I usually only do it for 45 minutes, because if you do it for long enough, you'll actually go through everything on the periodic table and then everyone would win. And that's not right. So I give them a periodic table. The ones I got from Thomas Jefferson Laboratory, that's a really good resource, by the way. They also have their own bingo, which gave me the idea probably like 10 years ago, 12 years ago or something. But their bingo is kind of It's just got a free square. I mean, come on, a free square. And it's just very simple. Maybe it's for like more like middle school level. And I came up with an improvement on it, I think, at least. And then I sent it to them and I told them to update the elements because they still had like UUO, et cetera. And they did that, but they didn't take my, one. By the way, the other beef I have, they have an excellent periodic table, but the problem I have is they still say atomic weights. And I think that's another term that should be is outmoded. And I wrote to them about it, and they said the reason they feel it's justified isn't just for historical usage, it's also because it's a weighted average. That was their explanation. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Because it's not atomic weight unit, right? I'm just saying. Okay, so bingo looks like this. I have 40 or 44 or something different cards, and I cut them in half unless I'm doing double bingo. And notice in the middle it says, write any metal or write any non-metal. It has to be one that I call, right? And then for every element that is called, or you could even have them do it for all of them, they circle if it's a metal, metalloid, or non-metal. Now, obviously, if they had to guess, they should know what they should guess, right? They should know what to guess because 92 elements are metals. So they should guess metal, metal, metal. And they'll be like, mostly right. They'll be at least 78% right. And then the trick is just, most elements are just, just like English. English is very lucky that, the periodic table meshes up, except for the 11 element exceptions to English. On the whole periodic table, out of 118 extant elements, only 11 defy the English name in terms of their symbol. So I go over those, and you have to do that the first time you do bingo. So look, they're in clumps: sodium, potassium, tungsten, iron, and then it looks funny that this looks like a little LR. It looks like the symbol for lawrencium, right? Copper, silver, gold, mercury, lead, tin, and antimony is the one everybody forgets. And so otherwise, it's pretty much, the first letter of the name in English, followed by either the second letter, or a lot of times it's the beginning of the second syllable. And sometimes it's just some other letter that they picked arbitrarily, which defies any rules. Okay. And then I talk about the planet elements. Some people don't notice this, but uranium, neptunium, plutonium, which are 92, 93, 94 in order. And of course there's mercury, but that wasn't named because of the planet, but it's fast. And tellurium, named after the Earth. And there's a few others you could say, well, vanatus and vanadium. Anyway, so what I do is I just call out the name of the elements, and I use it as an opportunity, not just for them to find it on the periodic table, see if they have it on their card, circle it, metal, non-metal, metalloid, right? But also, I can just sort of talk about the element if there's something to say about it. Surprisingly, this was not named after the Argonauts, okay? It was named after the fact that it just wouldn't do anything, no matter what you could do. So argon basically means lazy because they couldn't get it to do nothing. And I'm not an English teacher. Okay. And then, is it a joke? Is it intended to be funny? I'm just not sure. Is that intentional? I think they do a lot of work there, but maybe they're laughing about this. I don't know. I mean, spelled differently. Okay. Then, so anyway, and then when it comes up to an element that is an exception to English, it might take them extra time, but I don't give them extra time. And so I'll call it out 3 times, maybe like I would say, I don't know, 30 seconds that it's on the screen. And then I'll say something about it. Is this copper? Like psych, this is copper. Back when I was born, it was really copper. And then and so at first they're thinking, oh, this is way too fast. This is way too fast. Slow down, right? But then what I'll do is I'll gradually transition into, going down the rabbit hole about an element, like talking about it like a lot more. Like copper was named after the island of Cyprus. And then I might go on to talk about that Cyprus was named after that tree. Oh, look out the window. There's one of those over there. There's actually one out my classroom window across the street. There's one of those trees that island was named after, that copper was named after. Oh yeah, the Statue of Liberty. Did you know it was made out of copper, and it was originally for 10 years copper colored, and only the penny is not made out of copper. Like, it's the reverse, that the government is tricking you, everyone. And then, so I don't show them this one because it gives away the symbol, but we talk about that, we do the nitric acid demos to see what metals they're made of, and even Canadian pennies, even pesos are good ones. And then the surprising thing about some elements, a lot of even chemistry teachers don't look into the etymology, but I'm really big into studying word origins, etymology. And nickel, I don't know how many people know this, but its original name was Copernical, which means copper demon. So nickel means demon, like it's a mythical monster right there on the periodic table. And it's not the only one, because cobalt, guess what? Just literally means goblin, so like people don't realize. And so the miners thought, hey, why am I getting sick? Why am I getting sick? It must be that demon metal I'm mining. And I try to not use the word metal, but I tell them, well, sometimes you can just tell, but look at the picture. If it's a metal, does it look shiny? Does it have a metallic luster? I mean, come on. Okay, neon, I tell them, well, that's kind of getting old now. So maybe we should call it Paleon. It's a geology joke. I used to teach geology as well when we had it. I mean, this is California, but whatever. Hydrogen. Now, this is the one please tell me if anyone else uses this, because I'm honestly not sure if I came up with this myself. Well, hydrogen means, of course, water maker. What a great name. It's exactly what it does. Hydrosynthesis. So it's funny that water wasn't named after hydrogen. Hydrogen was named after water. Some people get confused about that when you talk about hydrocarbons and carbohydrates. It's easy to get it flipped around, right? And okay, here's what I call it. I call hydrogen the dog of chemistry. Because first of all, everyone agrees that it barks, right? And then follow me here. Hydrogen, like when it's clean, like when a dog is clean, it has, no smell, like virtually no smell. But when a dog is dirty, right? So hydrogen compounds often have that nasty odor, right? Get it? So you can put in the chat if you think you agree with the dog of chemistry. I told my students I was going to tell some teachers this and see what they think. But I've been using that for years. And I try to get it to bark. But the one experiment I'm really not good at, honestly, is after electrolysis, taking the hydrogen, getting it just right, and getting it to make an audible sound, like a really loud bark. I've only been able to achieve that probably like out of like 50 times, maybe like less than 10. You can hear it, but it's not like it's supposed to be. Anyway, and then I'll throw in some, oh, wait a second. That's not on the periodic table. Psych, and I'm from New Jersey, so I can get away with that. And so I do that, so they realize, oh, maybe these aren't all elements. So maybe if it's a weird one that I've never heard of, maybe I should tell him, hey, that's not real, and I'll move on to the next one. But I think the funny thing is I use like vibranium, adamantium, unobtainium, pemblium, molybdenum, things like that sound like maybe plausible. But then the ones that are really on the periodic table, some of them are so ridiculous, they sound fake. Okay, and then titanium, named after the Titans, but the OG Titans, the old Greek Titans. Okay, I might be running out of my time. Just tell me when my time is up, because I had so much stuff here that I trimmed it down, but just tell me when to stop at this point. I'm just, and then at the end, eventually they'll get an uprising. Like the students will be like, I'll be talking about it too much and going too slow, and they want to get their bingo. I do it until the end of the period. So they're like, they want me to go faster. And I'm like, I'll talk about an element or whatever. And they'll be like, come on, go to the next one. And then eventually it'll be like, almost like the class has an uprising. Like they want to and they can get full credit without the bingo, by the way. They can get full credit by following the instructions. If they circle the ones I called, don't circle the ones I did not call, metal, metalloid, and one in the middle. And then they can get 100% credit, but the bingo would just add extra credit. So they really want it.
All right, we've been
Okay, I
told
was not concise.
to move you on to the next to time. Time is out here.
Okay.
But we've been having a great time. You couldn't hear us all laughing and having a great time with it, so thank you. They should be shared.
Bryce, do you have some slides for us? I put his YouTube channel on.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Refresh that.
Fresh. And one more.
Right there.
Huh.
So Bryce is the second to last one.
Oh, here we are. Is YouTube right here.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, he's got lots of videos. Great stuff, Bryce.
Cool. We were just showing this here. All right. So we have next? Yay.